Hey everybody, it's B here and welcome to a guide on how to use XSplit. This is the software that I use to record, all of my gameplay videos, all of these types of videos. I basically use this to record the majority of my videos, aside from things I need to record with my actual camera. But here you'll see an infinite loop of windows that looks pretty funky when you do this kind of stuff, because this is the only way I can really show you the XSplit window, unless I were to get out an extra PC and a capture card and all that. And excuse those noises, my computer's making funny things. Anyways, so basically the things that you need to know for how to use XSplit is you have three main things. You have your scenes, sources, and your outputs. Okay, get those down and you'll be completely successful. You'll learn how to use this thing in no time. So let's start off with the scenes. You got your scenes in the bottom right corner here. Now you can set up to 12 scenes, and you can assign them to things like your number pad. A lot of people use. They just whack one of those buttons, and you get a different camera angle, or you get a different thing. Basically, you can organize your sources in here and organize things however you want. For example, I can, if I were to grab this desktop, then you could shrink the desktop, you could move it around, you could add an icon somewhere, a whole bunch of things like that. It's very, very customizable in here. So the second thing that you have to learn is sources. Now this one is a lot deeper. This is going to go a little bit more in depth, so just be prepared. So these are your sources down here in the bottom left. So you can select them like this, and you can use these arrow keys to kind of cycle through them as you want to. This is where you use different feeds like webcams. If you want a DSLR with a capture card, you can use a screen capture like we're doing now. You can use a capture card for console gameplay, or you could also use just different games like directly from the PC and all that kind of stuff. And there's even like different angles of the same game you can have and stuff like that you can put in here. It's pretty dang customizable. To add a source, just click this add button in the bottom left. And it's pretty easy to figure out what you want from here. So if you want to add a webcam or a capture card of any sort, then you can find them right under here. If you want to add a screen capture like we're doing now, you got to click here, and then you can either, it'll bring up this option, and you're not able to see this right now, but it basically brings up a crosshair, and you can select whatever window you want to record. And I'm kind of curious. Yep, so it'll let us record the XSplit window that we're recording currently. And you can also kind of do separate areas of that. So if you don't want to capture a full window, you can also sort of click and drag to the exact area that you want to actually capture. And it's pretty easy to just kind of figure it out from there. Though just keep in mind, sometimes it doesn't work, and you kind of have to manually click over the top corner and drag across to the bottom one if you want to select an entire monitor. Sometimes just clicking on the desktop doesn't quite work all the way for some reason, at least in this version. Hopefully that's fixed a little bit later though. If you want to add stuff from Twitch alerts like your top donator or when you get a donation or a follower, you can follow my guide. There's a little eye in the top right corner. Right there, go click it, click that, and then you can find my guide on it. Go ahead, and there's also a link in the description if you don't want to find it there. If you want to add any kind of media, like a image or video or something like that, you can click here, and I typically use my little logo in the top right corner. So say we want to use that, we can just stick it right up there and just kind of, shrink it to the size that we want, and everything's good to go from there. You can also, aside from the main audio that's being captured, it basically automatically detects the audio. And we'll go over that in a second, but you can add more devices or add specific devices right here. If you want to capture a game, you can automatically detect it from there, or it'll have a list of all the things that it counts as a game down here, such as my Adobe Premiere Pro viewing window, and for some reason my monitoring software called Cam. For some reason those show up here, but you'll find if you have several instances of Minecraft open, for example, you can choose the specific ones right there and resize them how you'd like right here. Now this is where it gets really advanced, so just keep in mind that XSplit doesn't install all of the plugins that you need or that you might want. So you can go click this Get More Sources button, and you can find everything that you need right up there. But they'll all be listed under this other page once you download them. So for example, say you want to add your Twitch chat viewer. So you can click on that, and you can configure it. It's obviously not working at the moment, but you can just do that by right-clicking and then typing in your channel name, and it'll automatically appear there. But you can resize that however you'd like. All your Twitch chat, people can appear there. You can even change the font and the color and everything like that. It's super, it gets very, very, very in-depth. You can also add things like a whiteboard, different chat viewers up here, as well as a Skype video stream and a whole bunch of other things. The list is really endless when you want to customize any of this stuff. But if you want to customize any specific type of thing, like say, for example, we want to customize this, okay? Just right click on it and it'll bring up this little menu here, and you can go through everything and you can adjust a color filter on top of there. You can add a chroma key if you have like a green screen behind you or something like that. You can even customize the exact pixel dimensions, like pixel perfect. You can flip it around, do things like that. You can crop it. You can even add a little shape. I like to do this with my webcam on my streams. I kind of curve it in a little bit and add a bit of a border, and then you can change that color, that border color. So say you want a hot pink one, then you can have a little bit of a border around it, as well as you can have shadows and stuff like that. It's very, very in depth. You can change everything. You can even change the transition. So if you have a different scene or whatever, you can hit that button and it'll like fade in, or you can make it, do a clock rotation or something like that to make it go in there. The list is like literally endless. You can do whatever you want with this. If your list of sources gets a little bit messy, you can simply click on them once to select them, and then wait a second and click again, and then you'll be able to rename that however you'd like. And then it's maybe a little bit easier to kind of keep track of all your gobbledygook. And now, finally, your outputs. So if you want to adjust your outputs at all, number one is you want to check this top right corner, and you can find both your resolution that you want to do it, and I can't change this because I am in the middle of recording. You can't change mid-recording. And you can also choose your frame rate here. So now for most of you guys, it's going to be 1080p. For some of you, you might want to do a higher resolution. If you're live streaming, you might want to jump down to a little bit of a lower resolution, depending on your internet speed. Now, as far as FPS goes, really, if you're just doing like a talk show or most things are pretty static, you can use 24 FPS. Most people generally use 30 FPS for videos where, you might be moving around a lot, or if you're playing like a third-person type game or anything that's not too action related, so that your camera's not moving all over the place all the time. You can also use the 60 FPS if you're playing something that's first person or a shooter, or if you have like some sort of an action cam or sequence or something like that. It's definitely preferable to use 60, though lots of people like me like to use 60 for pretty much everything, just because it's not really that unbeneficial to use 60 FPS. It just makes things look a lot smoother in general. So that is one section of your outputs, but your other is all under this list here. So you can select exactly where you would like to stream to. You can even stream to multiple services all at once if you have the internet bandwidth to do so. You can also do a recording by hitting Alt-R is the default thing. And you can configure these settings even further by clicking on the gear, and you get all kinds of setup wizards and everything like that that'll help you, for example, live stream at the perfect resolution and frame rate and everything that you need. Also note, you're going to have to be recording to an SSD if you're recording 1080p, 60 FPS, or higher, because the hard drive doesn't have the capacity to be able to record that much all at once. Anyway, guys, this has been B. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions whatsoever, be sure to leave them in the comments because I will reply to every single one of them. If you liked the video, please leave a like and subscribe for more crazy content and stuff like that. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.